He was 67 when it started happening, lost his keys twice in 1 week, forgot a friend's name mid-conversation, walked into the kitchen and couldn't remember why. At first, he laughed it off. Just a senior moment, he'd say. But deep down, he was worried. He'd seen it before. A close friend of his, once a brilliant storyteller, now struggling to finish a sentence. The fear wasn't just about forgetting things. It was about losing himself. If you're over 60 and you felt even a flicker of that fear, you're not alone. The truth is, cognitive changes are a natural part of aging. But here's what most people don't realize. You're not powerless. In fact, science has shown that there are specific things you can do every day to keep your mind sharper, clearer, and more focused. Well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. It's not about doing crossword puzzles all day or downloading brain training apps you'll never use. It's about real proven methods that nourish your brain from the inside out, physically, emotionally, and mentally. In this video, we'll walk through 5 powerful habits that can protect your memory, boost your focus, and help you stay mentally strong. Whether you've already noticed changes or just want to get ahead of them, this is for you. And trust me, the last method might surprise you. Let's start with the most important and most overlooked habit that's key to brain health after 60. 1. Move your body to wake up your mind. Why physical activity is one of the most powerful tools for mental clarity. At 67, Barbara never thought a short walk around the block could do much. She had always assumed that staying mentally sharp meant solving crossword puzzles or reading books. And while those things helped, it wasn't until her doctor gently asked, "How often are you moving your body?" that something clicked. She decided to start small. Just 10 minutes of walking each morning. At first, her knees protested. Her breath felt short, but something else began to change. Not just in her body, but in her mind. Her mood lifted. Her focus returned. She began remembering small things again. Where she left her keys, why she walked into a room. It didn't feel like a coincidence. Science backs it up. Regular physical activity boosts blood flow to the brain, which means more oxygen, more nutrients, and more mental clarity. Movement helps the brain build new connections, especially in areas tied to memory and decision-making. Even light activity, walking, stretching, tai chi, can increase alertness and slow cognitive decline. It's not about running marathons or lifting heavy weights. It's about choosing to move, even if it's just dancing in your kitchen or taking a few laps in your living room. The brain thrives on movement. It treats every step as a message that says, "I'm still here, I'm still alive." Take Robert, for example. He's 73 and started doing gentle yoga after his grandson showed him a YouTube video. "I thought it was silly at first," he admitted, "but I sleep better now, and I actually remember names again." That means everything at my age. Your brain doesn't just live inside your head, it lives in your entire body. When you move, you invite it to stay awake, stay active, and stay strong. So if you want to protect your memory and stay mentally sharp, start with something simple: movement. 2. Feed your brain what it truly needs, because your thoughts are only as strong as the fuel behind them. When Walter turned 70, he started forgetting little things: appointments, names, why he walked into a room. At first, he laughed it off. Senior moments, he'd joke, but deep down he was scared. His mother had struggled with memory loss, and he feared he was on the same path. One afternoon, his daughter asked him a simple question. "Dad, what have you been eating lately?" He paused. Most days it was toast for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, maybe something microwave for dinner. Nothing too unhealthy, he thought. But that's when she gently explained that his brain was starving, not for calories, but for real nourishment. The brain is one of the most energy-hungry organs in the body. It runs on the right mix of healthy fats, vitamins, antioxidants, and minerals. Without these, it begins to slow down, just like a car sputtering with the wrong fuel. Omega-3s from fatty fish like salmon or sardines, they help build brain cell walls and improve communication between neurons. Leafy greens, berries, nuts, and seeds, they're packed with antioxidants that fight off inflammation and protect brain tissue from aging. Even simple changes, like switching from white bread to whole grains, or snacking on walnuts instead of cookies can sharpen focus and improve memory over time. Walter started adding blueberries to his breakfast and olive oil to his salads. Within weeks, he felt more alert. He even started reading again, something he hadn't done in months. He told his daughter, "I didn't realize how much food affected the way I think. It's not about a perfect diet. It's about intentional, nourishing choices, because every bite is either helping your brain thrive or holding it back." 3. Sleep like it matters. Because it does. Because your brain can't heal, remember, or grow without it. For most of his life, Harold never gave much thought to sleep. He prided himself on being the kind of man who could power through the day with just a few hours of rest. In his younger years, that might have been true. He worked long hours, raised a family, and always kept going. But by the time he turned 68, things began to change. He started forgetting where he placed his keys, then names, then entire conversations. His energy dipped. He felt foggy during the day, snapping at people for no reason. Still, he brushed it off as just aging. But one evening, while having dinner with his daughter, he paused mid-sentence and completely forgot what he was talking about. Her concerned look said everything. The next day, she gently urged him to see a doctor. After a full checkup, nothing serious was found. No stroke, no dementia. But one thing stood out. Harold was barely getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night, and not the good kind. He'd toss, turn, wake up often, and scroll through his phone until sunrise. What his doctor explained next changed everything. When we sleep, the brain goes into repair mode. It clears out toxins, strengthens neural pathways, stores memories, and resets emotional regulation. Without enough deep sleep, the brain begins to lag. Focus fades, memory falters, mood dips. Over time, the impact of sleep deprivation mimics early cognitive decline. Harold took it seriously. He stopped using electronics at night. He created a bedtime routine: herbal tea, dim lights, calming music, and a consistent bedtime. He also began walking outdoors every morning to help regulate his circadian rhythm. Within 2 weeks, he started feeling clearer. Within a month, he was remembering more and reacting less. His daughter even noticed. "Dad, you're back," she said one morning, and he smiled, knowing exactly what she meant. Sleep is not just a break from life, it's where your brain restores your life. So if you've been brushing off restless nights as just part of getting older, think again, because a sharp, vibrant mind begins with deep, consistent rest. 4. Keep learning, even if it's something small, because a curious mind is a youthful mind. For most of her adult life, Elaine never saw herself as the academic type. She raised 3 kids, worked part-time at a local bakery, and filled her days with the beautiful busyness of life. After retirement, though, the house felt too quiet. The days started blending into one another. She'd watch television, do a bit of gardening, but something felt missing. One day, while helping her grandson with a school project, she asked, "What's this about planets again?" He gave her a quick explanation, and she realized how much she'd forgotten or never learned in the first place. That night, on a whim, she watched a short video about the solar system, then another, then one on ocean life, then one about photography. That small spark ignited something powerful. Elaine started keeping a little notebook, a curiosity journal, she called it. Each week, she picked something new to learn. It wasn't about becoming an expert. It was about keeping her brain alive. And the results? Remarkable. She noticed her memory improving, her focus getting sharper, and even her mood lifting. Her mind felt active again, like she was part of the world, not just watching it pass by. Science now confirms what Elaine experienced firsthand. Continuous learning creates new neural connections, strengthens cognitive flexibility, and slows mental aging. It doesn't have to be grand. Reading a new article, trying a recipe from another culture, or simply asking questions during conversations all count. It's not about going back to school, it's about staying curious. Because when you challenge your brain, even in small, joyful ways, you remind it that life isn't done teaching you. And more importantly, you're not done growing. So whether it's learning to use a new app, picking up a few words in a different language, or reading about a place you've never visited, keep that curiosity alive. Stay social, because isolation drains the mind. Why conversations may be just as important as nutrition for your brain. After her husband passed away, Margaret, 73, found herself sitting in silence more often than she liked to admit. The house, once filled with laughter, quiet arguments, and warm evening chatter, now echoed with nothing but the sound of the ticking clock. She still made her morning coffee, still watered her plants, but something had shifted. It wasn't just sadness, it was forgetfulness. She'd misplace her keys, forget names she used to know. Some days she'd stare at the TV but not remember what she had just watched. Her doctor asked a simple question that surprised her. How often do you talk to someone? Really talk? That question hit harder than she expected. What many don't realize is that the human brain is wired for connection. Engaging with others, whether through a phone call, a coffee meetup, or even a group hobby, doesn't just lift your mood. It actually activates multiple regions of the brain, improving memory, attention, and cognitive flexibility. Loneliness, on the other hand, has been linked to accelerated cognitive decline. It increases the risk of dementia. It triggers stress responses in the body that wear down your immune system and shrink your world without you even noticing. But here's the good news. Margaret didn't have to make a grand gesture to turn things around. She joined a local book club that met once a week. She started calling her sister every Sunday afternoon. She even invited a neighbor over for lunch once a month. And slowly, the fog began to lift. The truth is, staying social doesn't mean becoming the life of the party. It just means showing up to conversations, to shared moments, to small, meaningful interactions that remind your brain it's part of something bigger. So if you've been keeping to yourself lately, consider this your gentle nudge. Send that text, make that call, say yes to the invitation, because your next conversation might do more for your mind than any crossword puzzle ever could. And speaking of keeping the mind sharp, let's wrap things up with a powerful reflection that brings all 5 habits together. Final thoughts. If there's one thing aging teaches us, it's that our minds are just as important as our bodies, and perhaps even more fragile. The habits we've covered today may seem simple on the surface. Moving your body, feeding your brain, sleeping well, staying curious, staying social. But together they form the foundation of a life that remains sharp, vibrant, and deeply fulfilling well beyond 60. Because the truth is, cognitive decline doesn't begin with a diagnosis. It often starts quietly, with missed names, forgotten appointments, or a growing sense of mental fog. But it doesn't have to stay that way. You have more power than you think. With every walk you take, every healthy meal you prepare, every new skill you explore, and every conversation you choose to have, you are actively protecting your brain and your independence. Don't wait for a wake-up call. Start today. Even one small change, like reaching out to a friend or going to bed 30 minutes earlier, can set off a ripple effect that strengthens not just your memory, but your joy, your confidence, and your quality of life. So take a moment right now to reflect. Which of these habits are already part of your life? And which one will you commit to starting today? We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share the one tip you found most helpful, or something you plan to try this week. If this video helped you or someone you love, consider giving it a like, subscribing to the channel, and turning on notifications so you never miss future updates. Because growing older is inevitable. But how we age, that's in our hands.